I speak about racism, discrimination, all of these things all the time. And it's nothing new, but I just recently thought about something. And as a black American, one of the most fundamental parts about my identity never really gets talked about in the media and in any place, at least anywhere that I've seen. And it's the fact that I am white. I spoke about it in a different time, but it wasn't even fully formed to me until I had really spoken to myself and really talked. I am white. It, like, obviously, I don't look it, but I do not, I hold white ancestry. Like the European, you could trace histories and roots, and that is because of colonization, chattel slavery. But it doesn't matter how it got there. It matters that it's in there. And one of the things that I think that has harmed me the most is that I'm not allowed to express or acknowledge or speak about like this white side. Like it's always seemed like, oh my God, only internal families can talk about white America. The reason why, black Americans will, protect white Americans is this familial bond that's like, we are family. It's just because I'm the rut of the litter, if I'm the half child, but I'm still in the family by however means. I'm still I should be allowed to be a part of the line of succession, but I'm not, and that is the issue. It goes. I am not allowed to speak about my white side, not because I wouldn't have people wouldn't have organically had this conversation. We're not allowed to, and to overcompensate. I think that people are trying to like find any hints to say what physical traits allow us to speak about whiteness, and that's the problem. We're everything but the physical traits of white America, like the mannerisms, the styles. Yeah, we develop our own language, but white America had essentially copied that off of black America. And you don't know who started it, but it was um, really just making a whole new identity from where you're at. Both white Americans and black Americans are on the continent of America, which comes with the Native Americans, the indigenous people of that land. That was their land. So we're both like two, you know, yeah, we know we're not born here. Like we know that that's not our native ancestry. But we made a life there anyway. The difference is one is tolerated, one isn't. One's accepted and allowed to make rules. The other is, I don't know, just just supposed to submit, supposed to shut up. Isn't is supposed to exist only to serve the other, and that's where it's like it's not right. It's not fair, um, because it's just a physical look, and it's like I think people would have a tough time um, characterizing me. I think like they would have a tough time removing me from whiteness if the only physical thing that you could say, hey, you just don't look white. Your hair doesn't look this texture. But if you just change the skin of my tone, like the tone of my skin, using like some AI, gave me long hair, I would be considered an attractive white person. I really feel like it's not that hard to be an attractive white person. In fact, you just have to be mediocre and then just get hyped up. That's the name of the game. If I had wild hair, if I had a beard like this, and I just had the white features, like some women would be eating me up. Like I would be like, I didn't brush my teeth, and I smell bad. I'm a bad boy. Like, I don't know. Honestly, it's very apparent. The only thing is a physical distinction, a barrier that is, if they are not different than us, what have we been doing? It's hard to, like, yes, there's this, oh, we're all brothers, we're all brothers. Are we treated equally? Are we all treated fairly? Are we all held to the same standard? Are we all accountable? No, we have, like, you could say in the past, no, not in the past, present. Are we still treated equally? And if it's not, then why isn't that the first thing that you're doing? And you could tell that if you start, it's easier to try to say, oh, the solution is to assimilate Black America into white America. But the problem is, white America came from Black America. It's trying to assimilate. It's like a son trying to what's it called? Teach their father, or like they're trying to. Well, maybe that's not the best. It's trying to take back when we already did all this work to separate, and you cannot reabsorb those nutrients. You can't just birth a child and then eat the child to become stronger than the child. Like, it's like, what are you trying to do here? It's its own living being with its own ideas that also reflect and sometimes enhance you. If without Black America, there isn't a white America. Without Black America, there can't be this white supremacy society, and that's why we can't die. It's not of our own choice or volition. It's not saying that Black Americans don't have messed up portions about them, or don't have issues and struggles that they face, and moral and ethical issues. It's just saying that we're tasked with upholding white supremacy as the bottom figure, as the antithesis to white supremacy. Because, like, we just have to be dark, and that's it. And then it's saying, oh, assimilate to be light. And then it's like, okay, but when that was happening too much, it's these Black men are trying to get with these white women. We're assimilating. And then it's white women going, hey, we're not, political tools, or we're people, we're better than them. And it's like, them. It's like, I thought we were equal. And it's just like, the patriarchy, the white male, it's all of these things really just get confused. They're not fully thought out, because it's like, when you actually break it all down, the people in charge don't really care as long as they're still in charge. This isn't about being correct or being right. It's about staying in power. It's a game that no matter how you play, you will lose, because you're trying to play to a false god, a deity that doesn't have the power, never did. Like, I think that I had a dream last night about it, and really what it showed is like it showed me inept in some things. I had got some cute penguins. I bought all these cute penguins, but something that I do, this is me. Sometimes I forget to put things away. I forget to feed things. I forget to take care of things. And two of those penguins had died all already, for me forgetting to put them away, put them in a cold room, feed them. I was like, what? And it was this white guy, and that white guy was like me. He was me. He was a part of me. Brown hair, slick back, quick talking. Like, it sounds sassy, but sassy and charismatic are the same thing. It just depends on the tone. He was like, and I said, hey, dude, can you feed these penguins for me? Take care of the penguins. And he was giving me lit. And he said, he was talking back, but he said something that was real to me. He said, dude, you got these penguins and you don't know how to feed them, and then you're asking me to take care of them? Like, I don't have stuff to do? When did you expect to actually feed these penguins yourself? You expect me to teach you how to feed the penguins? Why'd you even get these penguins? And why do you get so many? And I was like, well, I just liked cute penguins. I like these things. And it, the thoughts in my head, and I remember I said, dude, you're white. Why are you talking to me like this? Like, you owe me, all of this. And I really had to sit there and say, I get it. I get like white supremacy, and it's like I get that's like the the feeling like someone's like, hey, I owe you, and then going, yeah, but is this what I owe you? Is this really what I owe you? And that's the troublesome part, because it wasn't a external thing. It's not saying for white people all in general. It's saying that there are some portions like, okay, I could do this, but would this ever really feel like it's correct? Does it feel like addressing this would ever feel right? And it didn't. Even if he fed the penguins one day, then I would expect him to feed the penguins every day. And then I couldn't feed the penguins. I'm relying on him. Yeah, it sucked to say. It was like an uncomfortable thing to say, because like I'm like I and deep down in my heart, I'm like, that's just part of my character. Now, regardless if it came from chattel slavery or not, because like there's a twofold part. There's a person in me, and I think that's what it was saying. There's a person in me that is removed from chattel slavery. That is not a byproduct of just chattel slavery. Is a person. I'm a human. And I think that one of my core characters is I like to have cute things, but I'm not good at taking care of animals. Like, I'm not good at taking care of other things. It made it clear, like, I could do well with one, but I took on too many, and then I expect others to participate because they see the things that I see. But it didn't work. Like, I didn't talk about it. I didn't confirm it. I didn't even really get aware of what is capable of going down. Now, maybe that's not all of this wasn't listed in the dream, but I'm just thinking. And I asked myself in a true question: if chattel slavery didn't happen, that'd probably be the person I am. Someone who likes to get into things, but may, just overdo it a little bit. Not something crazy, but that can lead into something bad happening. And eventually the penguins run away. And when the penguins turn into a gorilla, I'm talking about, it was crazy. And the gorilla penguin was protecting the other penguins, were really mad at me because it's like, you killed the other two, and you starving people, you can't even do it right. And they didn't attack the white guy, and the white guy just like, he's like driving me around, trying to get the penguins back, trying to help me, being sarcastic, but he's not helping me. And, like, I'm the one that means well, but I'm not getting things, like, it's not going the way that I want it to. Like, I want the penguins to love me. I do. Like, I want to take care of them. Well, I guess I want them to I like their presence. I like them being around, but not in the place to take care of them. I'm not in the place to do that. I'm not built like that. That doesn't mean that I'll never be. It was just like it was something that I was aware of even in the dream, and I had a chance. And I think that it really spoke to me because it's like now I'm like I can't do this. Not right now. You know, I'm not exactly ready. I'm ready to get started to be ready, but I'm not ready. And I need to deal with this internal turmoil. Like that white man was a part of me. That was like the first time I ever saw myself as the white version of myself manifested. And that's a deep, crazy thing because by all means, those are the genes, those are the recessive, those are the things that did not come. Those are the ways that I would see myself as the white version. You get the, you go to a universe and be like, what would be the white version of me? That's who I saw. The possibility. If there were just a little bit more genes, a little bit, less melanin, bam. And he was your run-of-the-mill, average, plain white guy. A little bit charismatic, aviator shades, leather jacket type, hair slicked back, brown hair, blue-eyed type of guy. He wasn't anything more amazing than I. And it showed. It was like being white didn't put us, like we were still connected, like we were still in the same kind of place. Now he had, more advantages, but he wasn't something greater. He wasn't like he was a little bit more confident, a little bit more cocky than I was. But that's because like I've been made to be more submissive, societal wise. Like if I didn't have that leash on me, I could see myself being him. I was him. And it was me really having to talk to myself. And like I gotta be acknowledged as both. Like I gotta be acknowledged for this whiteness like that I have. I felt like Naruto, like I got a demon in me, like the nine-tailed fox spirit, like it's it's inside of me. The white guy is coming out. It's like, but seriously, and I don't think white America really talks about that part. Like even Obama, if you use Obama, he doesn't really get to talk about his white half. He gets to talk about the black half. And because we, oh, you're black, you don't get to say like, yeah, I'm technically biracial. I just have more of the other traits. Like, and white people get to do this all the time. They get to break down their heritage and they get to say which one they have more of. They get to put all these different categories, and it's like, and it's the difference between it. It's not like okay, you could put these things down in a voting booth or in a job application. But the difference is, do you truly accept it? Do you acknowledge it? Do you treat it the same way? Not just what can be put down on paper. What does society believe in? Because when I go to somewhere and I go on a, because I got denied by Navy Fed, and I believe it's because I'm black. Like I one day want to sue Navy Fed because I believe that it does racial practices and it has racially discriminated against me. But, I believe truly if I put down European, white, or whatever, Caucasian, no one's gonna treat it with any sort of respect towards it. They're not gonna care. Like they're gonna laugh at it. They're not gonna think deeply about it. They're not gonna be like, oh, okay. they might see it like odd, or they might just think he's doing something. He's trying to be. Not everything, like, it's not taken serious. That's the thing. It's literally always to prove a point. That's my problem with a lot of media, a lot of uh, um, a lot of internet, a lot of things. It just like it's always treated like a joke, like a trend. Like I'm doing this not because I want this thing to actually be done, but to point out the hypocrisy of the thing instead of like saying like, yeah, no, I actually believe that that's how it should be. Everything is a joke. Everything is to point out the hypocrisy and ha 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 ha. Look how this thing is bad, but it's never actually providing any solutions to make it better. You know, I never got the chance. That was the first time in years where I really looked at that black ancestry. And you know what I said? The reason why all these bad things keep happening to me is because I society has ignored that white side of me, and I have ignored that white side of me. Never got to sit there in a room, and it's like that. This is the punishment. If anything, this is the hell that I've always envisioned. I have these white genes in me. I'm essentially a white guy in a black guy's body. And I go, you know, I see the world that is created, and my those genes that I have, I'm like, oh yeah, I am essentially like like in a literal biological thing, because genes pass down trauma, history, responses. But because you have genes that come from like a a white guy that's not afraid of, you know, being harmed, or just like, so you just chill and relax, develop certain skills and um, environmental genes. I'm not saying it right, but traits, certain traits. You know, now that's in me. So like sometimes I'm not as afraid of something where I'm like I should be, but I'm not. And that's because of the white genes. And that's because of the colonizer, the colonial settler, the white man that raped the black woman, or the black woman that raped, or the white woman that raped the black man. Yeah, doesn't matter how I came to be. It's just I have those traits mixed with the traits of those that have been beaten and abused and terrorized, and it's scary. And it's like, so now I have mix and match of traits. Like sometimes I'm scared of loud noises, and I'm like ADHD, and I'm like, but let me sit there and be logical, and then let me sit there, and because I have the time, I'm going to use it efficiently, because I came from a long line of people who had the time and money and resources. And it's like the traits start to flip, and some come and some go, and like now my body is like in an internal struggle, conflict that can't be resolved, because I can't ask the other half of me, because I'm supposed to only refer to the ancestors that I'm allowed to talk to. I'm only allowed to look at the black ancestors. But I'm not allowed to be angry at the white ancestors. I'm not allowed to be angry at the white man or the white woman that had helped give birth to me. I'm not allowed to cry and grieve about how they have always turned their back on me. I can't speak about like how I did all this. I did what the other children that you like have done, and maybe even done it better, and you still won't love me. You know, and I know that from, you know, just like, what can I do? I didn't turn my back on America. I never turned my back on white America. I They said you could leave if you want, and then left. And then when everyone scrounges and scrapes and sits there and like, why don't you why don't you, like, they keep asking me, like, I'm supposed to give more feeling, like my input matters. It's like, does my input matter or does it not? Like, why are you picking and choosing when? And I think it's just because they do see me in some regard. They just won't say and just reveal the truth. Like, I'm waiting for them to be like, do you love me or do you not love me? Do you see me as family or do you not? Why am I only a convenience when white America decides I'm a convenience? Why is my presence a nuisance when you deem, or when you're tired, or when you're sad? Then we can have these conversations. Why do I see protests in the street and saying, like, oh, these, it's only us when we have to find someone that is so othered, so across the world. And then um, when we bridge those gaps and we're like, hey, this person kind of like me, everything that you said was bad about them, I kind of have. You got to find new creative ways to difference them and make them different. And then when they don't treat me as bad as they do white America, when they, like, sometimes, yeah, I'm not saying that Middle Eastern people won't say some racist things, Asian people won't say some racist things. You see racist people everywhere. They'll hear those words, they're regurgitated because they're not like the black people in their place. But that's my point. You'll see the black people in their place and are like, I'm them. I'm dark skinned. You'll see the same problems. It's like you'll see the Uncle Ruckus, you'll see the Hueys, you'll see the grandpas, you'll see the references. And it doesn't even take them too long to understand, because it's like it's easy to understand trauma even if you don't speak the language. I could hear it nigger in Spanish. I could hear it in Arabic. I could hear it in Finland or Finnish. I don't. Yeah, Finnish, Swedish. I could hear it. You know, I knew PewDiePie was racist for a long time. A lot of people were racist, and it's like me trying so hard to fit in, not because it's hard for me to fit in, but it's hard for others to accept me fitting in. They want me to be uncomfortable. They want me to be scared. They want me to be on my toes. They want me to be on my best behavior, because the truth is, I'm funnier than them. Not because I'm this came naturally. It's because, like, I had to. Like, that's just who I am. And when I let my hair down, when I let my flaws just live and breathe and try to work on them and do my best, it makes white America look inferior in comparison, because you can tell when someone's faking it, when someone knows something's wrong with them, and instead of actually dealing with it, they pass it off. And then they find a scapegoat to like put into, why don't I feel good about this? Why do you feel good about it? And I look at them and say, you think I feel good about this? You think I actually genuinely feel good about this? No. But I'm actually trying to solve it because you think it's a problem. All my life, I just want that love of a mother and a father. I wanted that connection. I wanted to feel comfortable. And I don't fit in with not that I don't fit in with African people. I just know that there is a difference. And when we're behind closed doors, yeah, we laugh, we hug. But when it's time for them to go home to their families, I don't go with them. I don't go with them. They can invite me in. You can tell me you could stay all you want, but I'm not a part of the family. No one's putting me in the family picture. No one's like anything done is insincere. It's just to make them feel better, make the situation feel comfortable when it's not. You know, what I have is the drunk dad that beats you. I have the drunk dad that watches the game, those beer cans at your head, and that's what I know. When I go back to my childhood, when people talk about nostalgia, I'm gonna be like, you remember dad being nice to you. You remember dad giving you gifts. It's not like I have a poor white trash dad. I have a dad with a good job. CEO, something high in business, lawyer dad, rich dad, smart dad. And I got multiple siblings. But I'm the kid that he has, not because he's proud, but because I hold his name. I look too much like him. There's too much evidence to link me and him to it. And he doesn't really acknowledge me. You know, he beat me for a few years, and then he couldn't beat me anymore. He just doesn't acknowledge my existence. And my siblings have done the same. All they've done is like they've gotten the better end, and they might have experienced the abuse, but they're so worried about their abuse first that they never once asked who the abuse started with. They didn't care about the half sibling. They only care until after they get out, and then they say, and they like to use me and bring me up when it's a convenient to yell at dad. The older generation, when it's convenient to say, wait, dad's been messed up for a lot of years. I remember when he beat Russell and he did this to Russell, but they never check on Russell. They never care about Russell. They never want Russell there. They just want to use my pain as evidence. It's like they're not as bad as dad, but they're at some point they become culpable. They become guilty because they knew what was wrong and they didn't try to help. If anything, whenever they eased pain, it wasn't easing pain because they felt bad for me. They just didn't want to feel that guilt. They didn't want to feel that. That's what I get. That's what I get as a my life. I get used to explain away someone, to use as a reference, to be that half sibling that gets called a stepchild. That's what it is. America looks at me like a stepchild, as if I don't have the same blood. Like no. And then they'll conveniently say child when it's we're together, 9/11, us versus them. There are like property instead of ever a child of America. And I can't get mad the same way that white America does. I can't get mad when what dad does and what didn't happen and what mom let happen, and because I got a different mom. And when it's convenient, they want to throw me to my mom, and my mom, I gotta go to my mom's house and watch as she's sick and dying. Still holding on to your father's a good man for letting you stay there. And torn between cussing her out and crying for her. Because I'm sitting here listening to the delusions someone's holding on about, some guy being so good. And he's not. Like yeah, he's smart, but yeah, he pays the bills, but he's abusing me, and my siblings don't care that they're abusing me. They only care to bring it up when it suits their needs, and I'm tired of it, and I want to escape, but no one cares, no one sees it because everyone's saying, "Look, at least you get to live inside the house. At least, you have such a handsome father. You have such handsome siblings." I'm like, what? These are my siblings. These are my siblings, and and then I'm treated like a pervert when my siblings flirt with me. That's why I don't like white women. Not because not all of them. I see them as siblings, like blood related something, and it's like to have like your half sibling flirt with you when they're feeling lonely, when they feel ostracized, so they want to flirt with you because and then you don't see it as they're your sibling because they don't treat you like your sibling. They treat you like another being, a different person from a different family. But then, like in a flash, when you try to get close and try to be in a relationship, it's like, ew, you're related to me. This is weird. This is strange. And then it's like it's this weird ancestral relationship because it's like refusing to acknowledge, refusing to own. It's tolerating this perverse family. It's gross. And it's like I don't have anyone else to handle it with me. And maybe with all the same perverse families, we go around and we see all the other different phenotypes and kids, and this is how the whole block of America seems to go. Like if you see that common trait, and then we group together, we laugh because it's like you're the bastard child, and you try to get with other bastard children. But then they don't let us be with other bastard children because then it starts to say, hey, is this a recurring problem? No, 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 we can't. So they pin us against each other. They say they give love, the love that we've always longed for, just as a deterrent from actually healing, from actually calling out the bad behavior, from calling the house from within. Heck, they might even let you date your half sister if it just keeps from you exposing the family's brokenness. Because you start to see that the truth, that the children weren't lying, that the family does not care about the children itself. Like they don't, like the dad is a piece of shit. The dad drinks and will hit the children, but he picks, there's a hierarchy. Like he might not ever hit the son that looks like him, but if the first son that is just like him, but all that negative traits, that he put all the energy and work to finding to putting the good traits in. Maybe sometimes it works and maybe sometimes it doesn't, because sometimes the first kid, he might get all those the things that the dad had worked so hard to hide, and what he sees in him is all the things that he tries to avoid. So maybe sometimes he skips and goes to the younger child, puts all his eggs and says, you know what, I'm abandoning this project, I'm going to the son. Or maybe sometimes it is the first child is groomed to be the best and greatest and brightest, and so the other siblings, like the younger daughter or the younger son, they get scraps. It's not saying that white America doesn't have what it's saying about white America. White America has its criticism. They'll be like, my life is hard. That's not a non-factual statement. It's just you looking at just your life, and you're not asking about my life. You're not trying to actually listen to me. You're trying to compare you to me. You're trying to you'll be like, okay, of course your life is harder, but my life is hard. And it's like, and you just want to speak about how your life is hard. You know, what I had to sacrifice, meaning that you got to have something. And you see me grateful, because it's like, that's all I have. When I look around, I see it's like, this is all I have. And then I think about those that didn't even get accepted, those that didn't even get to wear clothes, that didn't even get to know their father, that didn't even get to eat or sleep. But you know what the truth that all of it goes? Kids always grow up, but they never forget. And then when the time passes, see, I learned from the others that have gone through the situation. I avoided my half sister. I avoided the working in alliances with the the second son or the third son, the one that's the weakest of the sons, because I know that it was always a means to an end. I realized, like, hey, I'm gonna have to do this on my own. I'm gonna have to remove myself from this family in order to build a family. I'm gonna have to do some things in secret until there's a day where I can tell my story the way it needs to be told. Not the half truth, not like I've been playing off. I've been playing a game of offense where everyone else gets to be defensive, and where everyone who has a stake in doing something bad will then, deny the claims, move it, blame it, shift it, and by the time anyone wants to answer anything, you're already tired and your brain is just stuck. I'm gonna make them play defense. I'm gonna make white America play defense. I'm like, here's the stories, here's the things that you wanted. I lived the life that you said, and I'm just gonna tell my truth. That's the thing about that I can best do. Tell what I had seen without having any sort of outside implant, any sort of like extra additive. Like, you didn't add this detail, you add the detail. I'm not gonna deny everyone's perspective. You know what? I say that white America has just as much right to talk about what happens in the family, in the house, as anyone else. I'm not denying white, like, I won't do them the same thing that they've done to me. I won't say that they can't speak. Like, if I get a chance to tell the story, I'm gonna tell the story. I'm not gonna overhype. I'm not gonna sit there and say she was a monster and he was a monster, and because guess what? It's just gonna be a very boring story. I'm gonna say the story, all of it, the love, the pain, the bits of happiness, the times when it was good, the times when it was bad. I'm gonna say stories that might be repeated with close confidants that would know, like, hey, this is the story. Yeah, I remember them hearing that story. I remember them saying, so they're not lying. They're not saying, like, I'm not gonna put any assumption. I'm not gonna put any malice towards action. I'm just gonna say what happened. And then it's for, if I got something wrong or there's some information I wasn't privy to, like, I was away. I don't know what happened after that. Someone else's job is to fill in the story. And when you start to fill in the story, it's not that you deny your own pain. It's start to recognize that it's like you weren't the only one hurting. You're in a dysfunctional household. But instead of trying to make yourself like this supreme victim, you start to realize, yeah, I was angry. And I did say those things. I did repeat those things because I thought at the time, like it makes you go back to a place and say, yeah, at the time I said this. At the time I had said this and I was hurt and I didn't understand and I never corrected that. And I can't fix that. I can't fix that. But I can apologize for that because I know it's wrong. And it's sometimes, the best thing about this is that you don't have to make yourself the victim, but you don't have to make yourself the perpetrator as well. You could just say, like, yeah, I did this, I don't want to do this anymore. And it's like, but you do get to own up to things that you like. I didn't really like this, and it really shows why it manifests in this way. I think that, like, no one wants to admit to incest, but I would rather admit to it than do it. I'd rather be like, you know what, I did have this weird thought about my half sister. And I could be like, why did you have this weird thought about your half sister? Well, it's because we didn't really hang out as siblings. I just thought she was another girl. She was the only other girl in the house. The only other person that I saw was my mother. And she said, don't call me your sibling. And sometimes I thought what she was doing was flirting with me. And then you could ask further questions and like just admit, like, okay, yeah, I was doing that. I was kind of flirting with you because I didn't recognize you as my sibling. Because they told me that you weren't my sibling. And I thought you were kind of cute. And yeah, it's going to be like a bit awkward because it's like, we are. And this is weird. And that relationship, it might be like, hey, it's best if we stay away from each other because of that. Because we don't acknowledge each other as siblings, though we share DNA. That's progress. It's not supposed to be neat and just like, everything is great and now we don't have these feelings and we don't have this awkward history. Like, we're going to have this awkward history. But I guarantee you have kids, I have kids, we keep them apart. Years later, it's like we die, and then the next generation doesn't really remember this awkward. Like, they'll be like, hey, don't have sex with your sibling. Why is he so adamant about that? Okay, and then you might hear the story and you're like, oh, I get it now. That's sad. That relationship could never be a sibling relationship. And that was not because of either person. That was because of their father. Not saying that they don't hold some accountability. Sure, everyone, like, yeah, you would say the girl holds some accountability for, flirting, but like the boy also has accountability for, like, in a way, like, did you want those feelings to be? Not saying accountability means that you're a villain. Just like, did you choose to see it as such? Did you want it? Remove all of it. If there wasn't any barrier, if you didn't, would you have done it? And to admit, like, the truth, it's like, yeah. What does that say about me? And instead of just trying to pin it in this, like, terrible way, it just shows, like, how messed up that situation was to be, because we're all children at the end of the day. To even put a child in a moral dilemma that difficult does not mean that the child is evil or wrong. It means that everything is right because that situation You came to the proper conclusion, which the conclusion was it would be strange not to. It would be weird not to come to that conclusion. Like, oh, you're my sister. And I am articulate and well read, even though I've been starved and hungry and abused. I have figured out the moral correctness. Where? Where did you come up with this? Where did this magical set of morality come from? That's why writing is so terrible, because it removes this reality. That's why I don't like Jordan Peele. I don't like a lot of the I didn't like Sinners. I didn't I didn't hate all of these things, but it's because it removes something that I feel that lacks. And it's like, in order for symbolism, in order for a wider audience, people sacrifice a story that hey, yeah, some don't get it now. Part of the enjoyment is getting it later. That's what makes it being able to rewatch it. You want to be deep, but you also want to be quick. How the hell you're going to poison the earth? You can get a what's it called, a crane, or you could get a bulldozer, but you got to fill it with gas. You got to build all these things. You can be quick and deep, but all that to dig what equates into a small hole. You don't need to do all that. It's just trying to be efficient and effective. To be deep, sometimes it takes time. It takes patience. And it's like, when you realize, like, yeah, it was small, and kept feeding into it, and it finally paid off. Now I have wealth, I have value. It pays off. But you can't keep trying to be so deep when you're just building holes but not filling it with anything. Shallow pools. You're pre-making holes that are this deep, but then they overflow. They spill into other things. They're like, you make a hole when you make a hole. Be deep when you need to be deep, but don't make it so illogical or so artificial. Like, it's not that deep. It's deep though, but not that deep. Fill it with something that's passionate, and that's the weight that is like carried with black artistry. It's hard to be deep when you're in pain, because like, you don't want people to make art out of your pain. You want people to grieve with your pain. But the only place that people were allowed to speak the art was in, or speak to our pain was in art form. And they made art out of the Holocaust. And that's where life had really fell. Because at some point you put down the paintbrush. At some point you don't want to draw the figures. At some point you don't want to make the music, because like, we were hit with the greatest sin of being human. I'm not always gonna be sad. And now I'm sad because I'm not always sad and I got my wish. I'm sad about being sad. It's lame. But it's not like, just not being sad does not mean that you're happy. Yeah, I'm not sad that I'm like me even being in Australia right now is a prime acknowledging. I'm not miserable here. I'm stressed because I have an $8,000 bill that I have to pay all at once. I don't have the financial capital. They raised my mortgage. I have to pay a random property tax fee. I'm still recovering from getting shot. I am in chronic pain. I'm trying to go out, but I don't have the money to go out and enjoy the things. I'm trying to find food. I'm trying to go to classes. I'm failing one class because I don't exactly agree with one of the professors on what it does. There's just too much, and I'm just burning out. And I'm like, ugh. And I can't, barely can I enjoy the time. I'm not sad because like I see like people are homeless and then people are in bigger, a worse position. I'm like, my problems are still problems, and if like they go away, then I can be happy. I can be like, yeah, I have a beautiful girlfriend. I have a house to go back to. I have a massage chair. I got games I want to play. Like there's things I want to do. It makes me miserable because like I don't feel like I'm fully taking opportunities to enjoy Australia because if I did, if I got to, I would I would do more than this. I'd be around. My face would be remembered, and that's a pity. That's a weight that I'm taking. That I'm saying like I'm here. I touched the land. I had some fun, but I have to focus on being stable and being happy. And if this place, no, it's not the place. If the people here want to help me achieve that, then I say, then I have to go. That's what the issue is. If I have to work this hard to be happy in a place, I'm going to go to a place where I can achieve it just a little bit easier. I'll say what fun I had, and I'll say why I didn't have fun, and then it's up to the people to do with that what they want. Maybe in time, the Australian people will look at things and see like how are these problems able to be resolved, or even say maybe it's not that big of a deal. Like, hey, maybe you need to do this. There's nothing we could do. Like it puts more to it. But I think that with that being said, I'm done.